It's important to actually have part of the curriculum being thinking about social justice and thinking about the diversity of people across a wide range of types of diversity. You know, who are the famous gay, lesbian, bisexual people in history?
People say that the curriculum is what we teach, but it's also what we leave out. And it sends a message to students when certain things are left out. It's appropriate at all grade levels to talk about both sexual orientation and gender identity, but just in different ways. And it really depends on their age. With the really little kids, generally speaking, their reaction is typically very matter-of-factly.
The way I approach these topics with early primary students often begins with a book. It starts with a story, for sure. It is in the curriculum for us to talk about family and family diversity, and that's a really natural way to talk about it. And at their age, 6 and 7, they're remarkably open and accepting if that's the tone that is set. So it's actually not as difficult as it seems, I don't think.
The slightly older kids, their reaction can sometimes be a little bit of giggling. It's a topic that's not often brought up, and so it's new. And with novelty, sometimes people think that that's kind of funny or interesting, and so they could be a little bit giggly at first. But when you explain things, they don't have a problem with it. They understand, and it makes complete sense to them. The reaction of older kids is interesting. Secondary students, I would say, often know more than the adults who are presenting. And they have comments and they, for the most part, this is something that they want to talk about and that they find interesting, and they just run with it.
One big thing that I've tried to take on this year is to teach a queer novel to my grade 9 class, and to not preface it as such. When I was doing it with my students this year, I was just so surprised to see how unfazed they were by it, how this was just, to them, something normal, something that was part of their life quite naturally. When it comes to parents, I have had both successes and challenges.
So the parent reaction to SOGI initiatives, that was one that I was quite concerned about, because as an administrator, I want everyone to feel welcome, and I know that I'm going to disagree on certain points with some parents, but the common ground will be that I care for their child, they do, and we're going to make this the best experience possible.
I've presented to a lot of parents at a district setting or at individual parent meetings. What I reassure them is that this is content that is important for all students. This makes learning a safe place for all students. And when we make our classrooms safe places, academic results improve.
We have parents who are just starting out on their journey of learning and understanding. And so it's taking them a little bit more time to understand why it's important and why we need to talk about these things. On the other hand, we've also had parents who have been so incredibly grateful for the work that we're doing and making sure that our spaces are very safe for their children.
In terms of bringing SOGI resources into a school, it takes some work. Looking at book lists from around the Lower Mainland, across the province, across the country, around the world, and trying to find some titles that are well respected, but then also finding lessons that link directly to some of those books, so the librarians see value because those books are being used. The library should reflect the community, and students should see themselves reflected in those books in the library. Teachers can now find out what is appropriate by looking in our new curriculum. There are numerous resources that are available for them to bring these lessons into their classrooms. Talking with others who've done it is a great strategy. Attending workshops is a great strategy.
I think it's perfectly natural to be a bit nervous about things that you're maybe teaching for the first time. And the way teachers deal with that is to prepare themselves. On our website, SOGIeducation.org, we have a section with curriculum resources, and we have top books and videos. And so by starting with books and videos that have been proven as lesson resources, you can familiarize yourself with those and become prepared. One thing I would say for teachers who are a little bit nervous is to give it a try and start small.